Cody Bellinger was interrupted by the umpires. Once again, we have the umpires deciding that it's their show, and it's not. So hear ye.
Right.
However, we continue to have problems. So here's what happened. Cody Bellinger used to play for the Dodgers. He was 6 years in a Dodgers uniform. He won Rookie of the Year as a Dodger. He won the NL MVP as a Dodger. Out of that 6 years, he did almost everything you could ever do and hope to do, etc. In a
Helped
Dodgers
to win a World
uniform.
Series. Played a big role in them winning a World Series.
Totally. So it's a big deal. He even had his own Sports Illustrated thing with Christian Yelich. So that was wild. But let's not get too deep into that. It has not. So he goes back to play the Dodgers. He plays for the Cubs now. He goes back to Chavez Ravine in Los Angeles. They're going to play the Dodgers. He's wearing an away team uniform, and they do a little welcome home ceremony for him before the game where he's, warming up and playing catch. And they did a little highlight reel of his stuff while he was in the Dodgers uniform, and it was supposed to be very nice, and everybody loved it. But it was pregame. And then the game got started, and he'd already did a little tip of his cap and everything out during the pregame. But the game gets started. He gets his first at-bat opportunity in the second inning. He gets up to the plate, and there was a sort of this difference of opinion as to whether or not he was going to get another little welcome home ovation. This one being during the game, not pregame, right? Everybody's there now. And the reports I read said that the applause was somewhat muted, subjectively muted, compared to what you would expect from a welcome home ovation. Anyway, point of the story is the umpire did not allow him the opportunity to sort of take a moment, and instead charged him for a pitch clock violation. Even Dave Roberts, who's now the opposing manager, took issue with it and said, hey, give him some time, and was chirping at the umpire to cool his jets a little bit, but to no avail. It didn't help. So that's the whole situation. It was like a legitimate 60 milliseconds or whatever. It was
he violated it by like a half a second. Yeah, he was in the box at 7 seconds.
Yeah.
And maybe he wasn't facing forward, but still, I don't know.
The margin was so small.
It was really small. But like Dave Roberts said, give him some time, because guess who didn't get a pitch clock violation for an ovation that he got in his first at bat just last week?
Yep.
Andrew McCutchen in his return to Pittsburgh. Right? And this is one thing that I've always had with, it's an issue I've always had with baseball umpires, referees across football, basketball, whatever. I feel like a lot of referees have a hard time feeling the moment, right? Like feeling the room. Like sometimes they have a pretty good job of having their pulse on things, like baseball umpires, especially, when they issue warnings and things like that, right? They can usually tell what's going on, but there are some times where they just cannot feel the room.
Yeah,
that all logic just goes out the window for whatever reason, and I don't know what it is. I don't know why. And it's like, this is one of those cases where the umpires are like, nope, he's got to get in the box despite all the applause and everything and the obligatory everything else that's going on. Get the man in the box and let's get this game moving. It's like, no, this is his first time back in LA. I know know. Right? Everybody knows that this is his first time back in LA. And
so I did some digging. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say they had to have expected it, and they had to have been like, at the time, just been like, okay, we'll give him like a few extra seconds,
Yeah.
But they didn't, because they just lost track of what was going on, and I shouldn't be as upset about it as I am, but I am quite upset about it because it drives me crazy when that happens.
Well, we're supposed to, that's our job as the fans. We're supposed to be upset about these things. So I did some digging. That Major League Baseball does have a provision for this. Apparently, the clubhouses are supposed to inform Major League Baseball that there's potential for a moment like this, a curtain call or some sort of welcome home fanfare, something, anything that they perceive as being disruptive. They alert Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball alerts the umpires union. That group alerts the crew chief, and then he alerts his team. And that's how this works. And so everybody's supposed to have known. Apparently, none of this happened. Apparently, nobody called and said, yo, Belly's coming back. Everybody cool out for a minute. And then all sources indicate that didn't happen. So
I don't care, though.
I know. Yes.
Like, that's the thing is like that you shouldn't have to take 8 steps for everybody to be aware that this is a thing that's going to happen.
Right.
Right. I understand there's a procedure. There's everything that's supposed to go through, right? Like, and I'm sure anytime a guy is coming up on 3,000 hits every day, it's like, okay, we got so-and-so's coming up on 3,000 hits. We're on the road. So okay, let's pass it on down the line and everything. But umpires have got to have more common sense than that. Like, they've got to be aware, right? Like, were they not paying attention to the video played pregame?
Yeah.
Were they not out there? Were they back preparing baseballs? I'm not going to say what we usually say, but were they back preparing baseballs for the game? Right. Or was the whole plate umpire still getting his gear on at that time? Like, I don't know. Either way, feel the room, man.
Yeah.
And get it together.
I agree.
Makes me crazy.